Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties upon the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Hi, y'all. My name is Amanda Zarowski.
And I'm Josh Zarowski.
In the spring of 2022, we were thrilled to find out I was pregnant with our first baby, a girl. But at 18 weeks, I suffered severe complications.
We were with 100% certainty going to lose our baby girl.
What I needed at that point was an abortion so that I could safely and with dignity deliver our daughter and begin our healing process.
But under the extreme Trump abortion bans in Texas, doctors were forced to wait until Amanda's life was in danger before treating her. After 3 long days, Amanda developed sepsis and nearly died, She spent 3 more days in the ICU fighting for her life.
Donald Trump is responsible for what happened to our family and countless others. He brags about it, saying he's proudly the person responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade. Let's be clear. If given the chance, he would go even further and ban abortion in all 50 states with or without the help of Congress.
So to every voter out there, every family out there, we must stop them. To all my fellow men, show up for the women in your life and vote for Vice President Harris.
We can choose a new generation of leadership, a brighter future with Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. They won't stop fighting until they restore and protect reproductive freedom in all 50 states for every single one of us.
I'm Ryan Wilson. I'm a proud Atlanta native, entrepreneur, and small business owner. It takes more than just hard work to start a business. It takes a whole lot of money, too. I'm sure y'all know who understands that, though. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a champion for small businesses, a champion for entrepreneurs. She knows that small businesses are the lifeblood of our communities and the engines of our economy. Her policy would be a game changer for entrepreneurs. A $50,000 tax cut to get off the ground. Cutting unnecessary red tape to make it easier to grow a business. Making sure that folks that have had historic barriers accessing capital receive the support that they need. Now, these aren't the typical policies of a politician. These are the policies of a leader who cares about making our lives better, someone who is committed to listening to the people that they serve, taking good ideas from wherever they come from, and developing common sense solutions focused on getting things done. And what would Donald Trump do? Well, if it doesn't help himself or his billionaire friends, Donald Trump isn't interested in it. America deserves a leader in the office behind me that is going to fight for the people every single day. Not someone interested in himself or his personal grievances. So in 7 days, we're going to turn the page on Donald Trump. And then we're going to do something special. We're going to elect Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States.
My dad was my hero, but he wasn't just a hero to me. Hollywood even made a movie about him and his fellow service members. Just 6 days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, he enlisted in the Army Air Corps. Lieutenant Harry Crosby became the lead navigator of the Bloody 100th Bomb Group. He served under brutal conditions and flew 32 combat missions. He fought fascism. He was fortunate to return home alive. Of the 140 men he deployed with, all but 3 were killed or captured. These heroes are the men Donald Trump disrespects and calls suckers and losers. Trump even calls our fellow Americans enemies from within. Those who know Donald Trump the best are sounding the alarm to say he's unfit to lead. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, his own national security advisors call him dangerous and unfit to lead. We need to listen to them. I'm here honoring my dad. because we ought to turn the page on Donald Trump's fear and division. I'm here because it's time for a new generation of leadership. Kamala Harris will be that leader. She'll honor those who serve and sacrifice on behalf of our nation. She's got a deep respect for the Constitution and the rule of law. And I'll be thinking about my dad, my hero, when I cast my vote for our next president, Kamala Harris. Thank you.
My name is Teresa Acosta, and I'm a single mom of 3 very busy teenagers. My youngest was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes just after his 6th birthday. He needs insulin in his pump every day just to live. When I lost my job in 2020, I lay awake at night, terrified to be losing both my income and my health insurance. But the Affordable Care Act caught us from a free fall. Even though my son has diabetes, a pre-existing condition, he qualified for a plan, and I could afford the insulin and medical care we rely on to keep him healthy. Donald Trump wants to rip that away. He's promising to terminate the Affordable Care Act and throw my son off of his health care. I know these are not empty threats. He was only 1 vote away from actually repealing the Affordable Care Act in his first term. And let's make that his only term. For my son, the consequences of this election could be life or death. But Kamala Harris doesn't just represent the alternative to Trump. She represents a new generation of leadership, fighting for a future where every American has access to affordable health care. She'll strengthen and expand the Affordable Care Act, ensuring that kids like my son have the right to health care coverage. She's already fought against the drug companies to cap the cost of insurance, of insulin and prescription drugs for our seniors. But now, that's right. But now she will cap it for all Americans. That's the kind of leader we need in the White House. She will turn the page, so we will turn, all of us, will turn the page on Trump, y'all. And we are going to elect Kamala Harris, who will fight for all of us, just as hard as I fight for my son.
My name is Dr. Lakeisha Hallman. And while I'm a proud Atlanta resident now, I grew up in a small town of Batesville, Mississippi. My grandmother still lived in Mississippi. And when I call to check in, I hear about things they are worried about. It's no different from my friends in Atlanta and many families across America. They're worried about grocery prices, affording medicine, and paying bills. But the other things that they talk about is the hope that Kamala Harris brings them. how they feel she cares about them and their overall well-being, how she's capped the cost of their insulin, and how they know that she's going to do even more. My grandmothers are right. Kamala Harris is fighting for all of us. From my grandparents in small town Mississippi to young families that's just getting started in Atlanta, she is fighting for all of us. When she talks about building her opportunity economy, she's talking about an economy that will actually work for all Americans. Because Kamala Harris believes it's not enough to simply get by. She believes that we all must thrive. Donald Trump wants an economy that works for he and his billionaire friends. He doesn't want to lift us up. He wants to pass tax cuts for billionaires and stick the bill on us. He's done it before, and he will do it again. So let's finally turn the page on Donald Trump. And as President Harris will do what she's always done, she is going to deliver for us. She is going to deliver for the American people.
Hello, my name is Craig Sicknick. My brother was U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. He was a hero. Brian died after defending our country on January 6th from Trump's insurrectionists. My family knows how dangerous Trump is. He incited the crowd to riot while my brother and his fellow officers put their lives at risk. Now, Mr. Trump is promising to pardon the convicted criminals who attacked our Capitol, killing my brother and injuring over 140 other officers. This is simply wrong. We need a real leader, and Kamala Harris is that leader. I've had enough of Trump's politics of chaos, anger, and hate. It has real and dangerous consequences for all of us. It's time to turn the page and choose Kamala as our president. And Brian, we miss you every day.
Hello, my name is Jenny Poon. I am a daughter of refugees. I'm the founder of a small business, a co-working space in Phoenix, Arizona, that I founded with my husband. And a very proud parent to these two wild and wonderful children over here. This is Ada and Oaken. I don't think they've ever seen this many people in their entire lives. As a parent, I worry about expenses every single day. When I was pregnant with Oaken, I looked at the expenses that were piling up, the groceries, the bills for health care, the groceries, and I thought to myself, how are we ever going to be able to afford this? And I'm not alone in this. So many of us, business owners, friends, families, carry these growing costs, and it only is getting harder. Kamala Harris cares about the answers to these questions. She knows what it's like to grow up in a middle-class family, sitting at a table, watching her parents struggle to figure out how these bills are going to get paid. That's why she's taking on price gouging, to lower the cost of groceries, her plans will cut taxes for the middle class, and she'll work with developers and home builders to build more homes, making it affordable for every American to own a home. She's expanding support to small businesses like us and to the thousands of businesses I see in my space. Soon, every small business, anyone who wants to start something, will have the ability to do so. To think, nearly 40 years ago, the landmark legislation, H.R. 5050, made it possible for women to create or get loans and bank accounts in their own names. I was 5 when that passed. And today, I was able to get a loan. Well, 10 years ago, I was able to get a loan and accomplish something that my parents would never be able to do. Get a loan to get a building. In my name, which would have been impossible in my mom's time. Before that, wealth was only built through men. Today, women run our homes, they run our businesses, they run our cities. And soon, they'll run this country. And yet, after all of this running that we're doing as women, Donald Trump doesn't think we are capable of making our own decisions about our bodies. Kamala Harris will protect and expand our rights and bring America forward, not back. For when we support women, when we support our families, we support our communities. This election, we have a chance out there. We have a chance to elect someone who sees us as more than birthers and vessels to their own wealth. Someone who protects women and families. Donald Trump wants to take us back, but to my daughter, for those who fought for us to get to the rights that we have today, we are never going back. I wish I could take credit for that line. That wasn't mine. Vice President Harris cares about every American like they are family. And I'm frankly tired of being the stepping stone for others to get rich. While Kamala Harris is fighting for us, Donald Trump couldn't care less about families like us. He's never known what it's like to worry about groceries and how much groceries even cost. His plan for a Trump sales tax would send costs skyrocketing, costing families nearly $4,000 a year for basic necessities. You've heard it again and again today. We need to turn the page on Trump. And the fears I had talked about earlier, the costs of diapers, Kamala Harris knows that too many families are worried about the same thing. That's why she's fighting for a $6,000 tax cut for parents with newborns. and a $50,000 tax credit for anyone who wants to start a business. I can't even begin to describe how life-changing that would have been for me and my husband when we were starting. So we have an opportunity to make history and create a middle class that thrives in America. So when Odine and I went to the polls, we actually mailed our ballots because we're in Arizona. Woo! We voted for the only candidate that treats every American as family, Kamala Harris, or as my daughter would call her, Auntie Kamala, every time she sees her on TV. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Bob Lang.
And I am Christina Lang.
Christina and I are farmers from Chester County, Pennsylvania. We live on our family farm that's been in my family since 1896. And we have been lifelong Republicans. I voted for Donald Trump twice. It made sense because I was a Republican, and that's what we did. I got to tell you though, Christina was way ahead of the curve. She only voted for him once. But it's very clear that Donald Trump doesn't care about helping hardworking people like us. He only cares about what's good for him and the super rich people that he touts to. He's too focused on seeking revenge and retribution to care about what we need. We deserve better. It's time to turn the page.
We deserve a leader who will bring people together and fight for the middle class. Not someone who tries to divide us. And that's why Bob and I are both proudly voting for Kamala Harris. Never in a million years did I think that I would be up on a stage like this, supporting a Democrat for president. But enough is enough. After nearly a decade, it's time to turn the page on Donald Trump and his chaos and division. We've got to move forward. We've got to elect someone who is in the fight for the regular working people and who will get things done, like a middle-class tax cut or help with the sandwich generation, the ones who care for their kids and their aging parents. We've got to elect someone who will take us forward and not backward.
There's more at stake at this election than in any other election in my lifetime. And the choice for us and for millions of Republicans across this country is simple. My message to the millions of undecided voters, many of those Republicans, it's time to turn the page on Donald Trump. Kamala Harris will be a president for all Americans. Let's elect Kamala Harris.
Thank you.
Roland Martin here. We are at the Ellipse here in Washington, D.C., where Vice President Kamala Harris has a jam-packed crowd out here. They were expecting, they put up a permit in for the park, with the U.S. Park Service for about 20,000 people. They increased that to 40,000. They expected in excess of 50,000 people to be out here. It is 7 days until Election Day, and it's all about making the closing argument when it comes to beating Donald Trump. I'm joined by Randy Bryant, Mustafa Santiago Ali. I'm going to start with Mustafa. I mean, this is a massive crowd. I dare say it exceeds Donald Trump's January 6, 2021 crowd. And doing it here, one, she wants to speak to that issue, what happened on January 6th, but also having the backdrop of the White House behind as well.
Yeah, you know, this is an electric night. Having the event here is so critically important because it's about upliftment. It's about helping the country to understand that there can be a brighter future, completely different than what Donald Trump did when he was here before. This is about an opportunity for folks to realize that, yes, you can move from surviving to thriving. No one has to get left behind. There are now resources to transform communities. And we've been hearing that from some of the early speakers who are talking about how their lives have become better, how they're committed also to Kamala Harris because of the vision that she has for the country. So it's an exciting time.
Randy, if we look at what's happening, if you go in front of the White House, everything is blocked off because they're already preparing for the inauguration parade. And again, so having this here in the nation's capital with the White House behind, it really sends a powerful message, not only to the supporters of the Vice President Kamala Harris, but also to the entire nation.
It's absolutely symbolic. Those people who maybe couldn't see a woman in the White House or a woman in Washington, they see her here now, and she's in front of the White House, where the last time Donald Trump did his speech here is when January 6th happened. So Donald Trump brought chaos and hate, and Kamala Harris is bringing joy. Tonight is a joyful night, and you see so much diversity here tonight. I mean, everybody is represented, and everybody feels free to be themselves.
The other thing, Mustafa, that I think is important here is that what the Vice President is doing, she's making it clear that, first of all, she's not just a candidate, she's still the Vice President of the United States, and so it's all of that still comes with it.
Yeah, you know, she is making sure that folks understand, especially, you know, who our competition is, that she has power, but she's using her power in a way that is positive. And she's using the backdrop also of the White House so that you get the real message that she's a boss, but she's a boss who cares. She's a boss who understands that everybody should have an opportunity in this country. And this is just a magical moment right now.
I think one of the things, Randy, that's also is important when we talk about here, you have all of these, of course, international media outlets that are here, national media outlets is here. This is 1 week out owning this particular night. Because this massive crowd that's out here, and so she's dominating those airways because everyone is here broadcasting live.
Absolutely, everyone's here broadcasting live because the world is watching us right now, and I believe the world knows that the right choice ultimately is Kamala Harris. I think the world is rooting for us, and so many of the inhabitants, U.S. inhabitants that are here, or you could tell, are from across the world. I mean, like I said, the diversity is what is so uplifting to me as a DEI person. This is what DEI is. This is when you see what America was designed to be.
Mustafa, when I look at, of course, again, you know, folks have been here since actually lining up around 11 a.m. Folks who were in line and then waiting to get in, and then of course the gates open at 3 o'clock. And so massive amounts, numbers of people. They've been having these rallies all across the country, but here's an opportunity for people here in the nation's capital, Maryland and Virginia, to be able to participate in all of this. She has been traveling, was in Philadelphia on Sunday, plans to be in North Carolina tomorrow, and again Atlanta on Saturday. And so they're not letting anything just go to side. You hear Republicans out there who are pushing out lots of disinformation, saying that she's pulling out North Carolina, they're pulling out of Georgia. Those are all lies. That is not the case. They are fighting for every single electoral college vote in these 7 battleground states.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're going to make sure that they run through the line. They're making sure that no community, no one across our country is untouched with not only this positive message, but also how the future can be brighter. So that's how you got to do it. If you want to win, you got to make sure that people know that you see them, that you're coming to where they are, that you're having conversations with them, and the campaign is doing that each and every day.
And one of the things that people need to understand, when you look at polling data right now, I would rather be in her position than his position. Latest polling, national polling, she's moved her lead to 4 points. When you look at some of the state polling, she's up in Wisconsin, up in Michigan, up in Pennsylvania, slightly behind in North Carolina and Georgia, tight in Nevada, and down about 3 points in Arizona. And so understand, this is still a very close election. Everybody is sort of trying to parse the early voter data, but here's the problem. It's very difficult to compare the 2024 election, the 2020 election, because that was COVID. Because the reality is folks were essentially stuck at home. And so it's a little hard to compare that data. So I think it's important for folks to understand that. Also, Republicans, after they got thrashed in 2020, they pretty much ignored Donald Trump, and a lot of them are early voting. Now, remember, Democrats typically have a huge lead in early vote, and then, of course, Republicans vote on Election Day. So no one knows that Republicans, if they're voting early, if you're going to actually see that kind of turnout on Election Day. So it's a whole lot to be discussed here. Randy, I'll ask you to talk about this here. Having that comedian at Trump's rally on Sunday make those comments about Puerto Rico has really changed this race. The vice president in the last 48 hours has gotten massive endorsements from Puerto Rican entertainers. The #1 newspaper in Puerto Rico has endorsed her as well. I was seeing an interview earlier where a Puerto Rican radio host in Pennsylvania, he said it is too late for Team Trump. It is simply too late. And so that could very well be the difference in a margin election.
It can make a huge difference how close the votes are right now. That comedian really could change the entire race because every vote is counting right now. And Puerto Ricans have realized, I believe our memories sometimes are very short, but it was Donald Trump who threw paper towels at them after the hurricane and did not provide the aid that he should have provided. But now when he has a comedian and he's trying to separate himself from this comedian, but I can tell you, we all know this, that when you're making a speech, they checked, rechecked, and checked his dialogue and what he was going to deliver, and they approved of it. They were shocked that there was the reaction that there was. And so it was a shame that here you have Puerto Ricans and also Latinos at a large, because a lot of negative things we're saying, having to be uncomfortable with the leader because they're telling them, I don't know if people are hearing it clearly, but they clearly do not respect the Puerto Rican population and Latino population. And so, yes, it's got to affect them. They cannot believe or trust that the Republicans and that Trump have their best interests at heart.
You know, there's been a lot of conversation, Mustafa, over the last several weeks about black men, about African-American voters. But again, what's happening from that rally on Sunday with the attack on Puerto Ricans, that could be the October surprise. You've got almost 500,000 Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania, 100,000 in North Carolina, 50 to 70,000 in Wisconsin and Michigan, 1.1 million in Florida. You put in with the Haitian population, 400,000 in Florida. And so the Trump campaign, they understand that was a massive screw up. He was trying to cut into her lead among Latinos. I was seeing pollster Matt Barretto sung a new poll showing her lead has been increasing. I think you're about to see that lead increase. And again, that comedic set could very well be the margin of victory for Vice President Kamala Harris in these battleground states.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, brothers are showing up. Brothers understand that there are resources to help them to start their own businesses, be able to take care of their family, to be able to build homes. I have family in Vieques and Old San Juan. I've talked to the folks who are there. They've said that they heard the message that they sent out there from Madison Square Garden, and it's resonating that we're going to make sure that we vote for the Harris campaign and make real change happen. So it is about everyday people, Roland. It is about them understanding that this administration sees them and that they're going to do what they can to help make their lives better. Hate does not win. Hate will get your attention, but hate's not going to win. And that's why the Harris-Walz campaign is resonating with Latinos, it's resonating with brothers, and it's resonating with everyday folks across our country who say they want something better.
You know, we're going to be in Milwaukee tomorrow and Thursday, broadcasting from there. So, again, you know, when you talk about this final push, the last thing of your campaign, what you want to be doing is pissing voters off. And Trump comes out, gives a news conference today, doesn't apologize, calls it a love fest, and all he's done is reinforce the narrative. You don't give a damn about Puerto Ricans, about African Americans. I mean, hell, even crazy deranged Megyn Kelly said that his rally was a bro fest, and there was nothing that would make a woman excited.
It absolutely was one big hate fest. It was, I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It was so insulting. I believe that he is in his wind tunnel now where all he really thinks about pleasing are white, rich, heterosexual men. And he has forgotten that America is not just them, but he can't get out of it. And he shows that he doesn't care, but he's not even trying to pretend that he cares. And he's comfortable with people saying their inside thoughts out loud and showing their absolute hate for anything that's different. It's an absolute otherism campaign. They do not like others. They do not like anybody that is different from them, and they're making it very clear, and they're not even trying to appeal to everyone else. And it shows to me that they think that everyone else is powerful. And I expect, I believe all the Haitians should be coming and voting. Puerto Ricans should be coming in droves, those who didn't plan for it. People should be coming, women of course should be coming and saying, we matter too, and we are Americans, and our votes count and matter.
Well, absolutely, and I think, really what jumps out the most to me, Mustafa, is the level of hate and vitriol that came from that 6-hour event. And then when you look at the folks who were there, Dr. Phil and Dana White, and you had NYPD folks who were in uniform giving interviews, and the bottom line is that's not how you want to close the campaign. But the reality is that's who Donald Trump is. That's who his followers are. And so they were simply being exactly who they are.
Right. It was a racist palooza is how I labeled it the other day, just yesterday. When you're focused on hate, when you're focused on vitriol types of things, when you're focused on bringing chaos into a situation, it is not something that resonates with the mass majority of people in our country. People want hope. They want possibility. They want joy. They want to know that there's a better tomorrow. And that's what the Harris-Walz campaign has been highlighting for folks. But not just hope without any resources tied to it. They're also showing folks how transformation has happened under the Biden-Harris administration. Now you got a chance to supersize it. You can make sure that if you are in Appalachia, if you're in the Rust Belt, if you are in Puerto Rico or Alaska or any place in between, that you are seen, that you are valued, and that you're needed. And that's why your vote is critical, because you can be a part of making sure that this country is uplifted and there's a better tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, what we are facing here, Randy, it really comes down to a serious choice between hate and love.
That is the choice between hate and love. Do you want to be accepted? Do you want to be counted? Do you want to be taken care of? Do you want policies that address you and your family's needs? Or do you want people who have clearly said that they are not at all respectful of you, that they don't see you, and really they don't see you as an American? I think it's been very clear that they don't see them as Americans.
All right then. So folks, we are waiting for Vice President Kamala Harris to step out for this rally here at the Ellipse. And so it is waiting her speech where she talks about unifying the country and, again, making her closing argument. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
They said we were dead.
Detroit waving the white flag.
the city filing for bankruptcy.
That our best days were behind us. That living here is like
living in hell.
But you know what we said? We said, F that. We rebuilt ourselves. We looked out for each other, got our hands dirty, and put in the hard work. And this guy, he don't know anything about that. We are a city of winners, of up-and-comers, of builders, the Motor City. Bigger and better. Here, we believe in freedom. We don't bow down to nobody, and we never will. And so what Donald Trump doesn't understand, or care to learn, is that when he said,
our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president,
that he should be so goddamn lucky.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Trump ain't shit.
Did you know that Trump wanted the military to actually shoot Black Lives Matter protesters? I mean,
Trump is not shit.
He let people die during COVID and then told us to drink bleach.
He tried to kill the stimulus bill and couldn't, so he delayed the money just so he could put his name on the check.
Trump ain't shit.
He used the death penalty to execute black men like Brandon Bernard.
He Obama's economy, lost thousands of black jobs. He started inflation and gave his billionaire buddies a tax cut.
America, Trump ain't shit. Don't vote for that man. Nothing but
Vote Kamala Harris for president.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
everyone. Good evening, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives. Thank you, everyone. So listen, 1 week from today, you will have the chance to make a decision that directly impacts your life, the life of your family, and the future of this country we love. And it will probably be the most important vote you ever cast. And this election is more than just a choice between two parties and two different candidates. It is a choice about whether we have a country rooted in freedom for every American or ruled by chaos and division. Many of you watching have probably already cast your ballots. But I know many others are still considering who to vote for, or whether you'll vote at all. So tonight, I will speak to everyone about the choice and the stakes in this election. Look, we know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election. An election that he knew he lost. Americans died as a result of that attack. 140 law enforcement officers were injured because of that attack. And while Donald Trump sat in the White House watching as the violence unfolded on television, he was told by his staff that the mob wanted to kill his own vice president. And Donald Trump responded with 2 words: "So what?" America, that's who Donald Trump is. And that's who is asking you to give him another 4 years in the Oval Office. Not to focus on your problems, but to focus on his. And Donald Trump has told us his priorities for a second term. He has an enemies list of people he intends to prosecute. He says that one of his highest priorities is to set free the violent extremists who insulted those law enforcement officers on January 6th. Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within. America, this is not a candidate for president who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. Donald Trump has spent a decade trying to keep the American people divided and afraid of each other. That is who he is. But America, I am here tonight to say that is not who we are. That is not who we are. That is not who we are. You see, what Donald Trump has never understood is that e pluribus unum, out of many, one, isn't just a phrase on a dollar bill. It is a living truth about the heart of our nation. Our democracy doesn't It doesn't require us to agree on everything. In fact, we like good arguments from time to time. Just think of your own family, right? It's not the American way to not have disagreements. We don't shy away from robust debate. In fact, we like a good debate, don't we? We like a good debate. And the fact that someone disagrees with us does not make them the enemy within. They are family, neighbors, classmates, co-workers. They are fellow Americans. And as Americans, we rise and fall together. America, for too long, we have been consumed with too much division, chaos, and mutual distrust. And it can be easy then to forget a simple truth. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. It is time to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict, the fear and division. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next President of the United States of America. Now look, let me say, I recognize this has not been a typical campaign. Even though I've had the honor of serving as your vice president for the last 4 years, I know that many of you are still getting to know who I am. Well, let me tell you, I am someone who has spent most of my career outside of Washington, D.C., so I know that not all the good ideas come from here. I am not afraid of tough fights against bad actors and powerful interests, because for decades, as a prosecutor and a top law enforcement officer of our biggest state, I won fights against big banks that ripped off homeowners, against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students, against predators who abused women and children, and cartels that trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. And I did this work because for as long as I can remember, I have always had an instinct to protect. There's something about people being treated unfairly or overlooked that frankly just gets to me. I don't like it. It's what my mother instilled in me, a drive to hold accountable those who use their wealth or power to take advantage of other people. The drive to protect hardworking Americans who aren't always seen or heard and deserve a voice, and I will tell you that is the kind of president I will be. And look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, but here's what I promise you. I will always listen to you, even if you don't vote for me. I will always tell you the truth, even if it is difficult to hear. I will work every day to build consensus and reach compromise to get things done. And if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way. So look, in less than 90 days, either Donald Trump or I will be in the Oval Office. Okay? On day one, On day one, if elected, Donald Trump would walk into that office with an enemies list. When elected, I will walk in with a to-do list full of priorities of what I will get done for the American people. And I will work with everyone, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, to help Americans who are working hard and still struggling to get ahead. I have been honored to serve as Joe Biden's vice president. But I will bring my own experiences and ideas to the Oval Office. My presidency will be different because the challenges we face are different. Our top priority as a nation 4 years ago was to end the pandemic and rescue the economy. Now, our biggest challenge is to lower costs that were rising even before the pandemic and that are still too high. I get it. I still remember our mother sitting at that yellow Formica table, late at night, cup of tea in hand, a pile of bills in front of her, trying to make it all work. And I've heard from so many of you who are facing even greater financial pressures. Donald Trump's answer to you is the same as it was the last time. Another $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations. And this time, he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported. Think about it. Clothes, food, toys, cell phones. A Trump sales tax that would cost the average family nearly $4,000 more a year. And on top of that, you will pay even more if Donald Trump finally gets his way and repeals the Affordable Care Act, which would throw millions of Americans off their health insurance and take us back to when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Well, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back, because we also know Donald Trump would deliver tax cuts to his billionaire donors. I will deliver tax cuts to working people and the middle class. I will make sure you have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because I believe in honoring the dignity of work. I will enact the first ever federal ban on price gouging on groceries. Cap the price of insulin and limit out-of-pocket prescription costs for all Americans. I will fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. I'll never forget how our mother saved up and how excited she was when she could finally afford to buy our first home. I remember how excited she was. And I know that owning a home is not only a measure of financial security, it's about the pride of your hard work. And as president, I will fight to help first-time home buyers with your down payment, take on the companies that are jacking up rents, and build millions of new homes. For years, we have heard excuses about why America can't build enough housing. Enough with the excuses. I'm going to cut the red tape and work with the private sector and local governments to speed up building and get it done. And the cost of housing isn't the only financial pressure on middle-class families. I have met so many young people who have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources to do it. So I'll fight for a child tax credit to save them some money, which will also lift American children out of poverty. I'll work to lower the cost of childcare, which is out of reach for too many working families today. And for too many people in the sandwich generation who are raising young children and taking care of a parent, juggling all of it is extremely difficult. You know, I took care of my mother when she got sick, cooking food that she had a taste for, finding clothes that would not irritate her skin, and understand, as I do, that caregiving is about dignity. It is about dignity. And currently, if you need home care and you don't have some money to hire someone, you and your family need to deplete your savings to qualify for help. That's just not right. So we're going to change the approach and allow Medicare to cover the cost of home care so seniors can get the help and care they need in their own homes. Now, Donald Trump has a different approach. He tried to cut Medicare and Social Security every year he was president. Look, I believe that when people have worked hard their entire life, they deserve to retire with the benefits they have earned. And I believe in the fundamental freedom of Americans to make decisions about their own bodies and not have their government tell them what to do. I will fight to restore what Donald Trump and his hand-selected Supreme Court justices took away from the women of America. That today, 1 in 3 women in America, think about it, 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban, many with no exceptions even for rape and incest. The idea that a woman who survives a crime of a violation to her body should not have the authority to make a decision about what happens to her body next, that is immoral. That is immoral, and Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide, restrict access to birth control and put IVF treatments at risk, and force states to monitor women's pregnancies. Just Google Project 2025 and read the plans for yourself. And look, I think we all know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to simply agree the government should not be telling her what to do with her body. Not the government. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom nationwide, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. And look, on another subject, politicians have got to stop treating immigration as an issue to scare up votes in an election, and instead treat it as the serious challenge that it is that we must finally come together to solve. I will work with Democrats and Republicans to sign into law the border security bill that Donald Trump killed. When I was Attorney General of a border state, I saw the chaos and violence caused by transnational criminal organizations that I took on. And when I am president, we will quickly remove those who arrive here unlawfully, prosecute the cartels, and give Border Patrol the support they so desperately need. At the same time, we must acknowledge we are a nation of immigrants. And I will work with Congress to pass immigration reform, including an earned path to citizenship for hardworking immigrants like farm workers and our dreamers. As Commander-in-Chief, I will make sure America has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has shown his contempt for our nation's heroes, calls them suckers and losers, called a 4-star Marine general a, quote, lowlife. I will always honor, never denigrate, the service and sacrifice of our troops and their families, and fulfill our sacred obligation to care for them. I will strengthen, not surrender, America's global leadership. And I will stand with our friends because I know that our alliances keep American people safe and make America stronger and more secure. Look, world leaders think that Donald Trump is an easy mark, easy to manipulate with flattery or favor. And you can believe that autocrats like Putin and Kim Jong-un are rooting for him in this election. I will always uphold our security, advance our national interest, and ensure that the United States of America remains, as we must forever be, a champion of liberty around the world. America, we know what Donald Trump has in mind. More chaos, more division, and policies that help those at the very top and hurt everyone else. I offer a different path, and I ask for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to make your life better. I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. I pledge to listen to experts, to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make, and to people who disagree with me. Unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. I pledge to you to approach my work with the joy and optimism that comes from making a difference in people's lives. And I pledge to be a president for all Americans. And to always put country above party and self. I love our country with all my heart. And I believe in its promise because I've lived it. I grew up as a child of the Civil Rights Movement. My parents would take me to marches in a stroller, where crowds of people of all races, faiths, and walks of life came together to fight for the ideals of freedom and opportunity. I've lived the promise of America. I saw how hard our mother worked to give her daughters the same chances this country gave her. Growing up, I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love, who instilled in me the values of community, compassion, and faith that have always defined our nation at its best. I've lived the promise of America. I've spent my life fighting for the people who have been hurt and counted out, but never stopped believing that in our country, anything is possible. I've lived the promise of America, and I see the promise of America in all of you. In all of you. I see it. I see it in the young people who are voting for the first time, who are determined to live free from gun violence and to protect our planet and to shape the world they inherit. I see it in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom. And the men who support them. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but have put the Constitution of the United States over party. I've seen it in Americans different in many respects, but united in our pursuit of freedom, our belief in fairness and decency, and our faith in a better future. America, I know the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. I know it. And that's why I am in this race, to fight for the people just like I always have. Nearly 250 years ago, America was born when we wrested freedom from a petty tyrant. Across the generations, Americans have preserved that freedom, expanded it, and in so doing, proved to the world that a government of, by, and for the people is strong and can endure. And those who came before us, the patriots at Normandy and Selma, Seneca Falls and Stonewall, on farmlands and factory floors, they did not struggle, sacrifice, and lay down their lives only to see us cede our fundamental freedoms. They didn't do that only to see us submit to the will of another petty tyrant. These United States of America, we are not a vessel for the schemes of wannabe dictators. The United States of America is the greatest idea humanity ever devised. A nation big enough to encompass all our dreams, strong enough to withstand any fracture or fissure between us, and fearless enough to imagine a future of possibilities. So America, let us reach for that future. Let us fight for this beautiful country we love. And in 7 days, we have the power, each of you has the power to turn the page and start writing the next chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. I thank you all. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
That was Vice President Kamala Harris making her closing argument. Folks, some 75,000 people are out here at the Ellipse. And so, come on. So I got it. So some 75,000 people are here at the Ellipse. She laid out, calling Donald Trump a petty tyrant. As you can see, again, she's there with the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff. Folks, understand this is a massive, massive crowd. It goes all the way back to the Washington Monument on the grounds there. I can't wait to see the aerial shots again of all the sea of people who are here as she laid out. Talk about what's going to happen over the next 7 days, the opportunity that exists for people to actually vote and to change the direction of this country. One of the things, Mustafa, she said is that day one, Donald Trump is going to come in with a list of people he wants to target, whereas she will have a list of things to do. And again, she laid out the contrast between a Harris presidency and a second Trump presidency.
Yeah, you know, a Harris presidency is focused on upliftment. It's focused on making sure that infrastructure is continue to move forward, the creation of jobs, making sure that health care is there for everyone, especially women, making sure that if you are native born or if you're an immigrant, that there is a place for you and that there will be a process to make sure that folks can be in place. So it's a magical and important moment, and the speech was filled with hope and possibility.
You know, she talked about the diversity of this crowd, Randy, and really pointing out what you see out here.
She did. She talked about how America is ours and how that's how we've always been and how we need to continue to be. She talked about how she was going to be a president for all people and not just some, which we know Donald Trump has the opposite message.
Absolutely. And so, again, absolutely incredible response out here. This crowd, energetic. And now it's about the final 7 days going on the campaign trail. And tomorrow she goes to Raleigh, North Carolina. And again, she's going to be in Atlanta. It's going to be in Pennsylvania. It's going to be in those 7 battleground states. I just saw that J-Lo plans on speaking at her rally in Nevada. You are seeing, again, a lot of these Puerto Rican endorsements rolling in. It's going to be a whole different campaign.
Yeah, I mean, the Latino community is standing up. They're making sure that their priorities are going to be met. The Harris administration has many of the programs that folks are looking for. So it is a time when you get to decide what you want the country to look like, and it's determined upon your vote.
All right, then, Mustafa and Randy, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, folks, we're going to go to a break. We come back. I'm going to stop down here. We're going to do some interviews with a lot of people who are here. So you keep watching Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network.
Trump ain't
Did you know that Trump wanted the military to actually shoot Black Lives Matter protesters? I mean,
Trump is not
He let people die during COVID and then told us to drink bleach.
he tried to kill the stimulus bill and couldn't, so he delayed the money just so he could put his name on the check.
Trump ain't
He used the death penalty to execute black men like Brandon Bernard.
He f***ed Obama's economy, lost thousands of black jobs. He started inflation and gave his billionaire buddies a tax cut.
America,
Trump ain't
don't vote for that man. He's nothing but
Vote Kamala Harris for president.
In this town, we've seen our share of hard times, heard our share of big promises.
Up to 13,000 jobs.
But empty promises don't build cities.
Plans never materialize.
We do, with grit, sweat, and cold beer. So when he talks,
Former President Trump called Milwaukee a horrible city.
we know talk is all he's got. And this is what we've got.
Philly Tough is different. They insult us.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things.
They don't like us. We don't care. Because here's the thing that people like Donald Trump don't understand. We're Philly. F***ing Philly. And when you fight us, we fight back. From 1776 to 4th and 26th. So go ahead. Talk whatever you want, Donald. We're voting soon. And when it comes to freedom, Philly's undefeated.
All right, what do you think about the rally here?
Yes, it was great. The Lord blessed us.
And she said 7 more days. 7 more days is the day of completion. And it will be all over with. And so we want everyone to go out and vote. And the Lord is with her. And we continue to pray for her. And then pray that the country will come together and unify itself.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. All right, then. You ready for this campaign to be over?
No.
Ready for this campaign to be over?
Ready for her to win. Yes, I'm ready for her to win. Get her to the White House. Howard. Get our first Howard. You know, Howard, that's our alum. Making history.
So I take it y'all can't wait for her to be on your campus on election night, huh?
We can't wait. We can. We want to share this beautiful moment with someone who graduated on the same floors of Howard University.
Oh, now you got something to say.
Oh no, still don't have anything to say. Ain't you? You know.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. How you doing?
Roland, Martin.
How's it going?
Who else? Great. So glad I've been here.
All right, your thoughts about tonight?
I'll see you on Black Star.
All right, I appreciate it. All right, how you doing? All right, then. All right, we'll do that. All right, here we go. What's happening? I'm working here, but she recording. Baby, I've already voted.
Oh, you've already voted.
Baby, I've been voted. I've been voted last week. See, you late. I voted last week. It's all good. So what do you think about tonight's speech?
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, I was almost brought to tears. Everything she was saying, from being a prosecutor, fighting for women's rights, fighting for children who have been assaulted. You know I'm a big proponent and advocate for sexual assault survivors. So the fact that she's standing up for people like me, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm ready. I'm ready to call her President Harris. I'm ready.
All right,
I'm ready.
I'm good seeing you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get your photo. All right, I'm gonna grab a Congresswoman in here. All right, Roland. I appreciate it. Congresswoman Plaskett, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm blessed.
7 days.
7 days. We got this. We got this. Nothing is going to be easy. Living black in America is never going to be easy. But we got this because we're about the good work.
She talked about, again, what her priority will be on day one. But I got to ask you this here. I mean, some 75,000 folks out here.
That's amazing. I had no clue as to the number.
They went all the way back to the Washington Monument.
Well, I'm just making sure I'm in that number. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking truth. Thank you for dispelling misinformation and just telling everybody to go out and vote. Not only vote yourself, but talk to 2-3 other people. Tell them to vote. Talk with them about what her agenda is, what the other person's agenda is not, and we can get this done.
All right, then. Appreciate it. Good seeing you. Absolutely. Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? What's going on? Enjoy tonight's speech?
It was amazing. I'm so excited. This is my first political rally.
All right, then. Appreciate it.
We're going to win next week.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Record high youth voter turnout coming next week.
All right, then. Absolutely. Well, that's what we actually want to see. Let's see here. We're going to grab some other folks who are... She said what he said. All right, then. You excited?
Very excited.
I can tell in your voice. I can tell in your voice.
Super excited, just ecstatic. Yes.
I appreciate it. All right, thanks a bunch. All right, then. Oh, it's not that late. It's not that late. It's not that late. All right, Doc, grab you right here. Just your thoughts about tonight's event.
Absolutely. Absolutely pleased and proud that Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States of America, and doing everything I can in my capacity and power to ensure that she can make it. Thank you.
So let me say this here. What do you say to young brothers out there, or brothers period, who are still contemplating not voting?
You know, when I look at the opposition, I think he has made a clear display of why we should not vote for him. While I understand that no candidate is perfect in this election, Kamala Harris is undoubtedly doing the necessary work to ensure that people like us will be prioritized. So it's bigger than, in this election, it's bigger than the little small nuanced things, and we must look at the bigger picture and ensure that we get Kamala Harris in office.
All right, brother, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. All right. I see you, Anna Navarro. Come on over. Y'all come on over. How y'all doing? Y'all good?
No, sir.
God is good.
You been out there busy on the campaign trail?
Yes, I have. You know what I found out today? Kamala Harris has a Mexican cousin. I was sitting next to her. How did I just find this out? She's got a Mexican-American cousin. What a great speech. What an amazing contrast. Darkness, hatred, division, bigotry, racism, and here, optimism, joy. We're taking pictures, you know.
It's all good. It's all good, Roland. We're so fired up. We're going to take more people to the vote. Everybody, get your ballots in. We need you to get your ballots in.
Senator LaFonza Butler, I got you. Just your thoughts about tonight and 7 days left.
7 days left. The Vice President just made her case to the American people. She asked them for their vote. She gave them the vision that she had. And you can tell the excitement of this crowd. The DMV never gets this kind of action in a presidential election. So I think this is a moment that she just actually, I think, delivered a real victory.
But also speak about doing it from this same place from January 6, 2021. Some 75,000 folks all the way back to the Washington Monument and that contrast.
Look, it was 75,000 people who were here to hear a message of hope and opportunity, who know that this is a candidate who has communicated a vision that has worked to unite the American people since the first day she took the top of the ticket. Where 4 years ago, you know, there was a scrum of folks who were gathered here to turn our democracy backwards. And I think this moment is a special one to be marked. The symbolism is incredible, and the energy is really electric.
All right, Senator Butler, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Reverend Leah Daughtry, step on over here. Come on over here. Reverend Leah Daughtry, Mignon, get on over here. So get over here. So somebody on Twitter posted a photo. A bunch of women were putting stickers on the tombstone of Susan B. Anthony. I said, no, y'all need to go to that same Frederick Douglass tombstone, put those stickers on. But again, but that's an important distinction because, again, black folks have been fighting for the right to vote and to see this come to reality, especially sisters.
That's true. I mean, in 1920, white women got the right to vote, and we had to wait until 1965 in the Voting Rights Act for black women to actually be able to participate in this democracy. But this year, we are seeing black women walk fully into their role in this democracy, and we join with millions of women across the country, millions of people, and we're going to elect Kamala Harris next Tuesday night.
Mignon, I've been looking at polling data, and sisters in the states all have been turning out, especially 18, 29-year-old sisters.
I think they understand that this is about their future. It's not about my future, it's about their future. And if we let this go this time, then we don't know what we will be inheriting. So I think if we do nothing else, we must come out and vote for the 18 to 29-year-olds. We love them, they got the energy, and we want to see them marching and running and walking to the polls.
I know y'all feet are cold, so go right ahead. I got you. Siobhan, step on up in here. Get you real quick. Again, what you're seeing tremendous enthusiasm. At the end of the day, now you got to close it out.
So we've been hitting this A-State, All-State strategy right now. We've been pushing 18 to 24-year-olds across this country. And I will tell you this, Roland, the closeout now comes with not just the early voting, but also getting strolls to the polls with rides, with folks like Ellipse helping us get people physically to the polls. I want to also hit the faith community, man. The faith community has been activating in a way that we have not seen in a long time, and the myths are out there. Brothers are with us. The faith community is with us, and we are not falling for the propaganda. Last thing is this, is black media. Black media's been coming through. The closeout is you all getting the message on how to go. We've been telling everybody, post your precincts. Don't let the disinformation and misinformation get out there. If you don't post the precincts, the people don't know where to go. And that's where you come in, that's where we come in. This energy tonight, it's God, man. All right. I love you, brother.
I appreciate it. One of the things, people have been hitting me up, folks, for the last 2 weeks. They're like, oh, my God, I'm anxious, I'm nervous. And I keep telling them, I said, listen, I said, that can't do with you anything. I said, I need you texting folks, get on the phone. I'm like, I need you to focus on work. I said, being anxious and nervous don't do nothing.
Not a thing. And Roland, let me tell you something. I've been with our 3 million members of the National Education Association all over this country. I just left Wisconsin and Georgia and North Carolina. I'm on my way to Pennsylvania. And let me tell you something. We're going to win. We're going to win all the things. We're going to win the presidency, and we're going to make sure that Kamala Harris has what she needs to do all of those things she said she was doing for us. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to win the House. We're going to win all the things because our kids, they're dependent on us. They're depending on us to be worthy of them, and we will. We're going to get it done. Going to win.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. So lots of pink and green out here. So y'all fired up, ready to go?
We are very fired up and ready to go. And Roland, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing the black men in together. I'm on all your calls, by the way. I make my husband join your calls. He's going to canvass because of you. And I don't like that they're misrepresenting the black men and putting so much of the burden on them. But as for my soror, she had her list of witnesses to represent all of her policy, and she closed the deal. Vote for Kamala. It's done. Praise God.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. How you doing?
To say that I really appreciate the way you represent our community and all the hard work you've been doing to get the truth out and to dispel all the disinformation that's out there and to motivate our folks to do what we know we need to do in order to get the result we want. I think we're going to win on next Tuesday if we turn out and vote. And just invite 10 neighbors to come with you. I think we can get this done. But I wanted to thank you personally. I introduce your show to a lot of people on a regular basis. When they say, how do I get the information? I say, go check out Roland Martin. Just go to YouTube.
We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you ready to go?
I am. What I'm really excited about is this plan for home ownership. We're talking about $100 billion for first-time, first-generation home buyers. People don't understand that's home buyers in urban, suburban, and rural neighborhoods in the communities hardest hit by the Great Recession, where our communities, Black and Latino, lost $1 trillion in wealth. Something like the Neighborhood Homes Investment Tax Credit will come in and revitalize those communities and help us to create equitable rehabilitation that won't gentrify our neighborhoods and push out long-term residents. So what's really exciting is that economic policies that are going to lift up all of us as opposed to leave us behind. And this administration does not get enough credit for not taking us to another foreclosure crisis. When we came into this administration, everyone thought the housing market was going to crash. $10 billion in the American Rescue Plan Act to make sure homeowners could stay housed, billions of dollars to keep renters housed. Those are inclusive policies that actually help Black home ownership grow 13% over this time. Points. Latino homeownership, 7.5% over this time. So those inclusive policies are going to be the things that move us forward as a nation. We know that if we address the Black-white disparity alone, we can actually add $5 trillion to our nation's economy. That's not just good for Black communities, that's good for the entire economy, making it strong for all of us. So I'm really excited.
We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. How you doing? You ready to?
Martin, my mentor. Well, we here live. I'm so excited to be here. We've paid a big price to be here.
Slide over here.
And the legacy,
Slide this way.
there's a legacy that we must leave to empower our communities, to give the right image of ourselves. And today, I think this represented the right image, that we are collective and we are putting our resources and minds together to bring about a better community. And Kamala Harris, a colleague of mine from Howard University in economics, so I'm voting for her because I know her. But I'm honored to know that you're out here, Roland, making sure that it's unfiltered. But we remember, it's full victory, not half.
That's it.
We're going all the way.
All the way. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, be well. All right, folks, and so here we are, 7 days away before the election is over, November 5th. Early voting. Be sure where you are located. Make sure that you know what the dates are. You heard somebody say, know what your precinct are. Share the information with the folks as well, because it's critically important. We are going to be headed to Milwaukee tomorrow. We're going to be broadcasting from G's Clippers tomorrow in Milwaukee. There's a huge faith rally taking place on Thursday. We'll be broadcasting from there as well. Then all off to Mobile, Alabama on Friday. And then we'll be in Detroit Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And so to close out, and then, of course, we have our election night coverage at the Black Star Network and our studios in Washington, D.C. On November 5th. And so it is going to be a busy 7 days, folks. At the end of the day, look, you can rest, you can go to sleep on November 6th, but let's do our part. Let's be sure to call, text, volunteer, drive folks to the polls. All of that matters when it comes to the election. So for everybody here with the Black Star Network, we certainly appreciate you checking out our coverage of the Vice President's speech here tonight on the Ellipse. Again, some 75,000 people were here. A massive turnout, a tremendous turnout of folks here to celebrate this night, but also to hear her vision as she makes the closing argument to be elected the next president of the United States, the 47th president of the United States. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow from Milwaukee. Holla!
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?